past weekend, a wild card weekend, and this Saturday night, the Bears completed their first comeback in franchise postseason history, largest, I should say, rallying from a 21-3 halftime deficit to stun the Packers, 31-27. Chicago scored 25 points in the fourth quarter, their most points in a quarter in a playoff game since 1940 in the NFL Championship. It's been a minute. Meanwhile, on Sunday, the Eagles season came to an ending with a 23-19 home loss to the Niners after the 49ers took the lead on a Brock Purdy touchdown pass to Christian McCaffrey with just under 3 minutes to play. Philly drove down as far as the Niners' 20-yard line, but then their drive was stalled. So, bad loss for the Eagles, bad loss for the Packers. Which one was worse?
I'd say the Eagles' loss was worse as those are those two examples that you're giving me. I had somebody else in mind, but you didn't bring them up. So I'll wait until later on in the show when we touch them. But if you're telling me those are my two choices, I'm going to say it's the Eagles. Why? Because it's inexcusable as to how it went down. You know, it's like when you look at the Packers and whatever, I know you had a 15-point lead, Chicago comes back, but once their defense came alive, you saw what they've done because you've seen Chicago do it all season in terms of coming back offensively, and we're talking about the rivalry that is fomented between the Packers and the Chicago Bears, and you're in Chicago at Soldier Field, you got to go against these cats. I mean, it was a madhouse there. You're the Philadelphia Eagles, you're on your home turf. You're the reigning defending Super Bowl champions. And it's one thing for us to rave about Kyle Shanahan and what they've done offensively. Robert Saleh and that defense, even though they deserve credit, how hard was it considering how predictable the Eagles' offense was? I'm listening to NFL analysts all over the place tell me that you could close your eyes, go to sleep, take a nap, wake up, and still predict. You understand what blinders on what the hell the Eagles are going to do because they were so transparent and predictable all season long. Nothing changed up. And that's where the disappointment lies. People are going to lose their jobs in Philadelphia because of what we saw. We're talking about a team that was the reigning defending Super Bowl champions at the time with a Super Bowl MVP at quarterback, all worldwide receivers, a big-time tight end, a decent offensive line even without Lane Johnson, Saquon Barkley, a former 2005-yard rusher. You had all of that on the football field yesterday, and you were predictable. Think about that. Nobody, no surprises, nothing innovative, nothing. That's why this loss is so bad. Not because they lost, because of how they lost.
I'm about to give you a Stephen A. compliment sandwich here. That was a beautiful soliloquy. I love all the words you use. You're like a human thesaurus. As I continue to grow in this business, I hope one day I can be as good as you, and you dead ass wrong. Because if you the Green Bay Packers, you supposed to be the big brother, but you done been bullied by the little brother, not the little brother, the brother. The reason Ben Johnson walk out to the middle of that field because he knows that they're better. He believes that they're tougher. He believes that they're built out of something that the Green Bay Packers aren't built out of. When you watch this team play against the Packers the entire season, there was never a minute in the game, which they barely trailed, that they thought the Green Bay Packers were better than them. The interception late in the first game by Keyshawn Nixon, they thought that's my fault. That's on me. I had that throw. When they get the onside kick, when they score late, when Caleb Williams is standing in the middle of the field doing this, he planned on being there. He knew he was going to get to do that celebration. And if you the Green Bay Packers and Jordan Love is healthy and Matt LaFleur is coaching his butt off and you're up 21-3 and you got Jeff Hafley who is going to be on so many head coaching lists, you got to finish the deal. And when they start ticking away, when they start counting that lead down, when things start to get a little close, guess who got tight and guess who didn't? Guess what team seemed like their quarterback was a veteran on his second deal? Guess whose team seemed like their head coach was a guy that had been in NFC championships and divisional playoffs rounds as a head coach? The Chicago Bears. And so if you're the Green Bay Packers, it was Detroit was punching us in the mouth for the last 2 years, but we owned Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers talks about, the Chicago Bears, Aaron Rodgers talks about how much they own the Chicago Bears. They cannot say that anymore. This was a much worse loss because this is a team you got to see 2 times a year forever for the rest of your existence.
Absolutely. I mean, when we're talking about the games, it's no surprising what happened with the Philadelphia Eagles. We've seen this happen all year. And when you start to think, like, are we really disappointed? Or is this what they had coming to them? When I look at the Green Bay versus the Chicago Bears game, one of the things that we stand out, Matt LaFleur did not finish, and that's what he's going to kick himself for. It's not because they didn't show up. It's not because they lost the game. It's because they were winning the game so handily that nobody would have expected this to happen. And when you look at the last 5 playoff games or the last 6 playoff games under Matt LaFleur, they're 1-5. That's something to take into consideration. When you look at that they lost the last 5 games of the season, that's something that you need to be alarmed about. Well, this is also the team that had a quarterback that's playing in Pittsburgh now that scored a touchdown, that did the discount double check, and it was abundantly clear that you could read his lips, and he said, "I own you." That was Aaron Rodgers' message to the Chicago Bears fans. So now when you had an opportunity to put this team away, in the words of Ryan Terry, the little brother got fed up and said, "No, not today, big dog." And that's the biggest disappointment, because you have Philadelphia, who has shown you to be who they exactly are, now a team who takes the lead at halftime and then they squander the opportunity.
Well, let me say this, Ryan Terry. I mean, beautiful soliloquy.
I knew it was
beautiful soliloquy. You know what I'm saying?
saying?
Not to mention the fact, I mean, you know, you're just therapeutic in your verbiage. I must say that, all right? And Cam, you ain't too damn far behind, Mr. 4th and 1. I mean, I'm feeling y'all where y'all coming from, all right? Y'all dead ass wrong. And I'm going to tell you why. Who did we see get their ass kicked the week before in Seattle? Wasn't that San Francisco 49ers?
Yeah.
Didn't they didn't just lose? Didn't they get beat up?
Yeah.
And didn't they then have to travel across the country a week later to go up against the reigning defending Super Bowl champions? We saw Chicago beat Green Bay a couple of weeks earlier when Caleb threw a bomb to win the game. Okay, the bottom line is this. In the end, when you look at the Philadelphia Eagles, the fact that you didn't change up, that you were so predictable, and you lost to a team that got softened up, to use a boxing analogy. You know what? You hard until you soft. When you get cracked and all of a sudden you fall on your face, oh, damn, you vulnerable. Oh, you can't get knocked out. This is what happened when you were San Francisco, and we saw what Seattle did to them. You fly across the country 3,000 miles, and you outplay and you out-physical the reigning defending Super Bowl champions at the time, and we just going to ignore that. Nah, I ain't ignoring it. That was not supposed to happen, but it did. We kind of predicted. Didn't you pick Chicago to win this game? I know I picked Chicago. D.O. did.
Green Bay.
Oh, you picked Green Bay. Damn, my bad. I forgot that. You and D.O. picked Green Bay.
No, so now
I was the one that picked Chicago. I was the one that picked Chicago, okay? The bottom line is I expected more from the Philadelphia Eagles because of what Seattle did to San Francisco.
So my question, okay, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish.
My question would be why? Why did you expect more from Philadelphia? We've been expecting more from Philadelphia for 18 weeks.
I'll answer it quickly.
We've been asking them to turn it up, Stephen A.
Because they're champions, they know what it takes, and I thought that the personnel that they had, because they've been there, they would make the necessary adjustments.
We knew that the Niners' defense was not great, so Philadelphia would go out and have to score more points than the Niners. Obviously, that did not happen, and now they're bounced from the playoffs. But tonight we got a big game here in Pennsylvania, right? Because the Steelers and Texans are going to go at it.
Yeah.
And we could talk all day about the Packers. The reality is, Packers' old quarterback is now here in Pittsburgh, right? And he plays for the Steelers. So tonight, what does Aaron Rodgers need to do if the Steelers are going to win this game, Cam?
Control the game, control the tempo. Do what he did last week in controlling and minimizing mistakes. With this team in a defense that's led by DeMeco Ryans, those guys get after the quarterback. He cannot get flustered. That's why I have a lot of hope for the Pittsburgh Steelers, because you have a veteran quarterback that's not going to get rattled and being forced to make mistakes. With the Houston Texans team, #1 defense, they're extremely physical. They play behind that physicality with zone pressures and all things of that such. When Aaron Rodgers gets his key player back in DK Metcalf, how does that look? When you start to see how he manages this game and keeps the pressure on that defense, that's going to be the common denominator with this particular match.
In order for the Steelers to beat the Houston Texans, Aaron Rodgers needs to have a virtuoso performance. Aaron Rodgers needs to turn the hands of time back. Aaron Rodgers needs to be the player that he was in February of 2011 when he was playing against us in Dallas.
That's a long time.
He needs to be somebody that makes every single throw. He needs to be a guy that could create when he has an opportunity to create. And he needs to be the same player that he's been down the stretch that tells Calvin Austin, go cook him, go make a play. That tells Kenneth Gainwell, I want you to get out there and run a go. He has to be more than just a player. He has to be the leader that he's been all year. Has to be the mentor that he's been all year. And he has to be the quarterback that's made every throw when they've needed him to get him to this point. And he got to rely on DK Metcalf.
Where?
At some point, DK Metcalf got to go out and beat Sting. DK Metcalf got to go out and beat Lassiter. Everybody needs to step up. But Aaron Rodgers needs to be the guy that they acquired in the offseason that they thought could elevate him in this moment.
Let me tell you something right now. Contrary to what my physique would tell you, I like meat and potatoes. I like meat and potatoes. Contrary to what my physique would tell you, okay? I like meat and potatoes. We ain't having this conversation about the Steelers without mentioning that offensive line. You got to protect that man.
Yeah.
There's two dudes, Will Anderson and Danielle Hunter. They got 27 sacks between them. They coming. Boom. You got to protect this man. Hold it. There's nothing to boo about. Listen with your ears, not your mouth. I'm telling you, you got to protect this man. Aaron Rodgers can't do it if they can't protect him. These brothers are coming for him. Yeah, you got to get rid of the ball quickly on some occasions, which he's an expert at doing. But damn it, I want to see passes down the field. Metcalf is back, right? Austin's still there, right? You got some cats. Thielen is still there, right? You got Valdez-Scantling. You got cats there. You got to go. You got to throw the ball downfield. That means you need a little time. We can't talk about Aaron Rodgers. You only been sacked 29 times this year. We can't talk about Aaron Rodgers if we're not talking about an offensive line that protects him. You have to protect this man because, oh, my Lord, there has been no reason this season to be more fearful of a defensive front coming at you that like tonight. Yeah. Tonight is the biggest test for the Steelers' offensive line. They got to protect that man. So you got to protect that man.
Aaron Rodgers played well against the Ravens, right, in their last game of the regular season. If he plays that well tonight, can he get it done? Not 2011, the last game against the Ravens. If he plays like that again.
If he plays like that again, the Pittsburgh Steelers find a way to win tonight.
Okay.
Contrary to what people may believe, Aaron Rodgers is the last person that I'm thinking that this game comes down to. I think Aaron Rodgers will show up like he's shown up each and every game. The times that Aaron Rodgers struggled, it was because of the others. It was because of the receivers. It was because of the protection. Aaron Rodgers is a superior veteran that understands what will be required for him in this type of game. Now, the offensive line. Now you're talking about Kenneth Gainwell. Now you're talking about DK Metcalf. All these different versions, the tight ends as well. Hey, we know what we can expect from Cameron Hayward. We know what we can expect from TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, and those guys. I am not worried about Aaron Rodgers. I'm worried about the others. If the others show up and matches his intensity, then they have a chance.
Well, damn it. 4-1 in the last 5 games, 267 yards average. All right, 4-1, completing 67% of his passes, 5 touchdowns, not a single interception. Those other cats that you talked about, yeah, they got to show up. But the first business is the order of protection. Protect that man. He's 41. He ain't running nowhere. They coming. They're like sharks in blood-infested waters, and he can't run. You have to protect that man. Otherwise, it don't matter.
You're right.
It don't matter.
Rodgers.
Get the fat head up, too. I love to see it. All right, here's our next Super Tuesday matchup.